So it's time for our closing remarks. We've had a long day of discussions, reflections, perspectives from different players, all really important for advancing gender equality in the European Union. We can very easily conclude that it takes a lot of will, a lot of political will and push, and more will, and still more will and push after in order to take us to where we want to get. Now the final words will be given to, let me change the slide here, and the final words will be given to the presidencies of the European Council. So presidencies have a really important role in steering this big ship of the European Union during their presidency period. And we work very closely with them to make sure that gender equality is always considered in the agenda and taken forward in all the possible forums. Our first closing speech will come from the current presidency of the European Union, Finland, Minister Thomas Blomqvist, who is also the Minister for Gender Equality, the first gender equality minister in Finland, and also for the Nordic cooperation. Mr. Blomqvist, please join us on board. It can be like this. Okay.
Good afternoon, the participants of this event. This is already the fourth time EIGE has published the Gender Equality Index, and I congratulate EIGE for this important work to look at the development of gender equality over time and across EU countries. Index gives valuable information to look at the progress and possible setbacks in gender equality since the year 2005 in 6 domains: work, money, knowledge, time, power and health. A new feature of this year's Gender Equality Index is a special focus on work-life balance that provides important comparative information, for example, on family leaves and public services. The data shows that the bulk of unpaid work continues to fall on women in the EU. That makes it harder for them to juggle work and personal life, which impacts on their earning potential and the well-being of the women themselves and the people closest to them. The Work-Life Balance Directive gives an important tool to promote work-life balance. I think the index strengthens the knowledge basis of gender equality policies at both the EU level and in the member states. And I hope this information is widely used in decision-making in the EU, not only in gender equality policies, but also in the area of employment, education and health policies, to name just a few. Looking at the report, you can find many things. First, the good news. The EU is moving towards gender equality. In 2005, the overall gender equality index score was 62 out of 100. In 2017, the score is 67.4. Well, that's progress, but very in a very slow mood. And however, it also means that the EU still has a lot of room for improvement to achieve gender equality, that is 100 points. The EU is closest to gender equality in the domains of health and money. Gender inequalities are most worrying in the domain of power, where the score is less than 52 points. However, we have the right to be optimistic, as the score in this domain has improved the most since 2005 due to progress in nearly every member state. And the reason behind this positive development is clear. those countries that have introduced legislative or other quotas to promote gender balance in decision making have advanced the most. One of the examples is France, where we can witness a sharp increase of nearly 35 points since 2005. And because of this, France has stepped on the podium together with Sweden and Denmark, ranking third on the Gender Equality Index. And for the same reason, Finland is now only on the fourth place, and I want to congratulate France and, of course, also Sweden and Denmark. The lesson to be learned from this event is maybe that there is no natural progress towards gender equality. The governments need to act and work continuously to achieve gender equality. In this work, we need all stakeholders with their ideas and their actions at all levels of member states and EU decision making. And we all know that we are still far from the finish line, but together I'm sure we can achieve the gold medal and the finish line. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Blomqvist, for your words and thoughts. That was a message from Finland. Finland will pass on the baton of the presidency of the Council in January to Croatia, so that's also a country that we would like to hear from, more particularly from Nikolina Brnjac, who is State Secretary with the Foreign Ministry in Croatia. Well, the floor is yours, and we're already looking forward to January.
Thank you. Dear Director, Virginija, Minister Blomqvist, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, it's an honor to be here today with you in the name of the upcoming Croatian presidency. As you know, Croatia will shortly assume its first presidency of the Council of the European Union. I very much look forward to my role as a Minister Delegate representing Croatian presidency in the European Parliament. First, let me thank our hosts from the European Institute for Gender Equality for this opportunity to share Croatia's visions for our 6 months at the helm of the Union. So the Croatian presidency plans to focus on areas where we feel that the EU can deliver the most, while strengthening our unity, consensus and convergence. To achieve these goals, we will concentrate on 4 overarching priorities, 4 main pillars. First, Europe that grows and develops, where we will aim to promote uniform, sustainable and inclusive growth. In parallel, we will work on addressing the pressing issue of demographical challenges in the European Union, as you know, half of the members of the European Union have this problem. We will advocate a strong single market, raising the competitiveness of the EU through cohesion and convergence, while taking into account sustainability of growth and also much important climate issues. Second, Europe that connects. We will promote initiatives in contributing to transport, energy and digital connectivity, while also addressing the challenges with new technologies and digitalization which are posing to our societies. We will also strive to promote initiatives contributing to people connectivity such as sport, culture and education. Third, Europe that protects its citizens. We will work on strengthening both internal and external borders. As a country protecting the longest external border, we will focus on a comprehensive approach to migration, including the fight against illegal migrations. And fourth, Europe that is both open and assertive in its immediate neighbourhood and globally. In line with that, we plan to host a major political event in Zagreb in May 2020, EU Western Balkan Summit. Being aware of the transforming power of the accession process, we will continue to actively support EU enlargement based on the fulfillment of all membership criteria. But coming back to our topic today, our trio presidency declaration underlines the need to make gender equality a priority on the EU agenda. In that context, the Gender Equality Index is an excellent instrument for focusing our common efforts on the aims which we need to achieve all together. It is fair to say that our common European standards in this area are high, but we need to continue translating them into concrete, everyday benefits for our citizens. Let me congratulate the Member States which excel in tickling all the boxes in the index, proving that excellence is achievable and providing inspiration for the rest. For the upcoming Croatian presidency, the issue of gender equality is an important building block in our vision of Europe that grows and develops sustainably and inclusively. We believe it is also connected with the demographic challenges in Croatia and in the European Union in the whole, and hope that this issue will be further explored in the upcoming period. The Croatian presidency will pay special attention to promoting gender equality, women's empowerment and equality in the labour market, and removing barriers to increasing women's activity rates. I welcome the fact that this year's index has a special focus on work-life balance. Building on the new Union legislation in this area, our presidency plans to examine the links between the ageing of the population, care for children and other dependent family members with the rate of inactivity of women in the labour market. So in line with that, we are planning to host a high-level conference which will underline the importance of participation of women in the labour market as a benefit for the whole society. We plan to table Council conclusions which will focus on facing challenges in the area of long-term care with the aim of achieving women's greater activity in the labour market. I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Institute for supporting the Presidency in this work. Finally, as to our legislative agenda, we expect that the incoming Commission, which aims at achieving a gender balance of its college, will put forward some relevant new legislation in its first work programme. We trust that the European Parliament will keep the issues related to the gender equality at the top of its agenda, especially in this ninth term, with a record number of European citizens voting for female parliamentarians. To conclude, I believe that the European Union bears the responsibility to achieve as much as possible in the area of gender equality internally, as well as responsibility to lead by example, influencing the countries with ambition to join the EU and beyond. At the beginning of this institutional cycle, the Croatian presidency looks forward to continuing our common efforts to build union gender legislation fit for the 21st century. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So next time will be Croatian presidency taking over the EU and discussions on gender equality as well. We're looking forward to that. Okay, so we are almost there. We are coming to the end of the conference. The final person will be on the stage will be Virginija. She has been listening attentively in the front row. I have been paying attention to that, and I can see that she's made a lot of notes and reflections on where we are with gender equality and what is the temperature at the end of the day. Will you tell us?
Some are sleeping, right?
No.
Good. That was the testing. Okay, first of all, I will not be long. I was talking already. But what do I see? From all the sessions, I will not go into details. But first of all, we see optimism. Everybody was saying now we are optimistic. We have hopes in relation to the Commission President soon to come. And we also believe that the candidate commissioner to be nominated soon, Helena Dalli, is also have the potential. That means that this index has a very special potential, momentum, where we want to use it. And also when I was listening to the Finnish Minister Blomqvist, who was saying gender equality index should not only be used for gender equality area, but for all areas. Now I keep your words. Which means that what I was thinking, I quickly also checked with Jolanta, I think we at EIGE, we will discuss, that will be a novelty. We might consult you. But I think catching the Finnish presidency's suggestion, also catching the momentum, we will prepare proposals based on the you know, what we were discussing, what the speakers and you were saying. We will propose and we will send to the leaders of all the main bodies, including the presidencies, how we can use the index to really strengthen gender equality, stop the snail's pace. So now what are the main proposals which I saw? First of all, we were saying today we need powerful, strong gender equality strategy. You all agree, right? Yes, yes. That is already, okay, then the next one, now I have to put, okay, the next one was, take the wrong one, that many of you said gender equality cannot just be reached by itself. It needs binding measures. Do you agree? Yes. Good. I'm looking at the Finnish minister because he will be the one. Okay. Now the next. What we were saying was that data. We see how much we can measure, how much we can make targeted measures if the data is produced and used. So what we will propose, then the question will be how that will be solved. That more data is using and on what in order to put it in measurement. Do you agree? Good. So, and then we were talking about the sidelining of the civil society organizations, the women's movement and the movement in general to fight the backlash. So that we also have to think how we build into this. Do you agree? Yes. Then stereotypes. That has been for ages, and it is really one of the reasons. We will need to see how we put, and in a way stereotypes are in every area, right? So we will have to see how we put, but stereotypes have to be also dealt with. There was a talk, it was from European Women's Lobby, Joanna mentioned gender budgeting. MFF, where gender equality is not a part, there's no targets for gender equality. There's no discussions, even if the parliament was proposed, and I was also reading gender budgeting, including the question that the bodies like EIGE are severely underfunded. So it's not the main about EIGE that we should target, but MFF has to have more on gender budgeting. Do you support that? Good. Then there was also an interesting initiative about the backlash. It was, Agnes was raising that question about how we know that the backlash is there, the anti-gender movements are there, and nothing is done. So Agnes' question was to the Parliament, can we find a way to propose again to the Parliament, European Parliament, that they kind of ally with the national parliaments to put some legislation on to fight anti-gender. And what do you say about that? Is it yes or no? Good. Okay. Now in session 2, there was about infrastructure, just a few. What we were saying, that infrastructure, all of those we were discussing, that it's cross-representative. I think it was Sophie from North Macedonia Commission Office was saying, right? So it was cross-representation groups would improve the planning. We are talking about involvement of those who know about what is wrong, what can be done. So if we can propose to all the EU leaders that the groups which have different needs should be included in the planning. What do you say? Okay. And then we have development of care services. Has to have to be aiming at transforming gender relations, Jolanta was saying, not just facilitating for women, but it has to be the care services have to have the function men involving, the society accepting. This one I don't even ask. Agreement. We have to put it in. Now, session 3 on parental leave. It was also that parental leave, it has to be availability, has to be for everybody. And we need to work, and also how it was mentioned that in relation to the free movement of labor, and then I think it was Mary, right? Free movement of labor and work-life balance. So it has to be connected for everybody. We have to see how much now we did the first study, and then we have to see what everybody in the European Union can do. And also there was this other proposal, legislative or quotas or legislative binding measures also could help to promote, especially take by men. Session 4, it was about flexible work, and it was also that a set of solutions for flexible work. It doesn't fit just to have one size for all, and we already see how much index shows that we cannot just be satisfied when we put one as if everybody is people, everybody is the same age, everybody is the same needs, whatever. So you see today we had now more in rough very interesting proposals which will bring us further, and we can see also, as we say, to catch the momentum that now the European strategy for gender equality is being formed, and the Director General was also talking about. That means we will prepare, we will work further. Next year we come together and we will look at other perspectives. But before I say the final word, I would like to ask all of EIGE people to come here so you can see who are those people. Plus, we also have from the experts come. We have to see, so then the Experts Forum working group, we also have people from the Experts Forum working group who were involved in this and who were also supporting. Please come. We need to have, so then that you see how much of work. Come. And Carleen, who will be taking, come Carleen, who will be taking next year. So, come. Yeah. Come. Now you see, it doesn't mean that we have so many people just for the index. We have very much work to do, and some of the people are running between different projects and different ideas, but those are the people who made it happen, who showed to us, and they will show also in the future, index is the tool. Thank you very much.
Can I also extend thanks to a few more people who are not here but who have also been working tirelessly, late hours, days, and I don't want to say nights, but definitely beyond any reasonable work-life balance expectations, and also thanking their families who've showed understanding during these busy times. Many colleagues out there in Vilnius who've been working on an amazing website, interface, publications, conference, many things that I hope you will be able to use and be happy for. So thank you for them as well. And one more thing before you go. We have a very special gift for you. So before you go, pick up your own personal Gender Equality Index diary, which has a column for every day for next year, 2020. And that will remind you that you can actually use Gender Equality Index in your work and life every single day. So please pick it up from the table before you go.
And I just want to tell you, Carleen will be next time in charge of the index as I was. So I want to really to thank Carleen for taking it over. And I also want to welcome Carleen in this very complex context.
Oh. Thank you.